What is going down? What the fuck is going down? It is your boy, StudioMguyvR, and you are listening to StudioMguyvR's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Welcome to the show, guys. If you're new to the show, welcome to the show. If you're into nerd culture, video games, anime, we talk about all of that shit here. Got a lot to talk about this week, guys. Oh, man. I don't know what it is about 2020, but I think it's a cursed fucking year, guys. I really fucking do. If you guys didn't know, this is kind of sad to talk about, but if you guys are familiar with the movie Black Panther, I'm sure a lot of us, most of you guys listening are, and a lot of you probably already know about this, man, but the actor, oh man, Chadwick Boseman, that is his name. He's the guy who plays Black Panther. He played Jackie Robinson. He's had a lot of prominent roles in his career, and he died. He literally died a few days ago. He was 43 years old, man. And the fucked up thing about all of this is the fact that he had colon cancer and nobody knew about it. He held that shit in. He kept it to himself and his family, and still did movies. I remember watching Black Panther, and after that, I think me and my girl watched a movie not too long ago. It was a Spike Lee movie. It was on Netflix, and I can't remember the damn name, but it was a pretty good movie, man. And we were talking about how skinny this guy looked, and we were like trying to figure out, was this for the role? And if you noticed, all of his pictures after Black Panther, literally, he just looked really skinny, and most people chalked it up to him, doing that for a certain role or whatnot. But I was looking forward to Black Panther 2, didn't think anything about him not being there. That never crossed my mind. Just wondered when he was going to get back in the gym. You know what I mean? But it's crazy to find out that he was, battling cancer this whole time, and that was the reason, he was looking the way he was looking. And man, it's just sad, man. That's really all I can say. I really, really dug this guy. He was a great person, not just a great actor, and just another L for fucking 2020 moving forward, man. It's crazy. I don't know what's going to happen as far as the next Black Panther movie, but it's just not going to be the same. I was telling my girlfriend this the other day. It's just not going to be the same. And they literally watched Black Panther the other night, and I stepped in the room, and saw, and I was like, man, he was pretty big compared to everything else I've seen him in the Black Panther. I'm sure he had a nice workout regimen and all of that, packing on more muscle and all those things. It just breaks my fucking heart to even talk about that, because it's hard to even believe now. I still don't believe it. But R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman, man. May you rest in peace. Now we can get on with the show. Wanted to get that out of the way, guys. It was, on my mind, and I had to bring it up because, like I said, it's in our culture. All the Marvel movies, all these things. It's in my wheelhouse, and I'm sure a lot of you guys as well. So I had to talk about it and had to pay homage to this guy. I had to pay homage to this man. But moving forward, we had a lot of things happen this past week. We have Gamescom 2020. Pretty underwhelming, if I'm keeping it real, and I'm not the only one who thinks that. But I'm going to talk about some bright spots, in my opinion, some things that I thought were pretty dope, and just talk about Gamescom in general. We're going to be talking about that. Also, some Netflix information on another franchise that they have picked up based on another video game. Gonna dive into that a little bit. Also, some Microsoft news. 343, the guys who are responsible for the Halo fiasco and all of that mess. Going to talk about that. There's a little bit of news, good news if you are a fan of the Halo series, and hopefully this pans out and works out. We're going to talk about that. And some Nintendo Switch talk. Yes, some Nintendo Switch talk, guys. There's some rumors out here in these digital streets, and more than not, people are getting on the train. We're going to talk about that. And man, I got an iPad. I got a fucking iPad the other day, And I want to talk a little bit about that, man, because, I'm enjoying myself right now. Just got it. Literally just sat down with it not too long ago. Had a chance to do some things, but we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. So without further ado, let's begin the motherfucking show. All right, guys. First, I want to talk a little bit about a game that, look, I talked a little bit about this, if I'm not mistaken, last week. But this is about a game that is not coming out anytime soon, but it looks to be a excellent game. And I have to talk about it again because these guys are an indie studio, and the hype for this game is just too fucking real. I'm talking about Black Myth Wukong, Wukong. I just wanted to pay a little bit of homage to this game. Anybody coming to this podcast and has not been here before, you need to check out this game. Anybody who hasn't heard about this game, definitely check it out. Like I said before, guys, I know it's nowhere close to being finished or released or anything like that, but you owe it to yourself if you play video games, especially if you're into the Souls-like genre, to check this game out. I mean, they have an extensive gameplay trailer out right now that you can see, and it's fucking unbelievable, man. It's jaw-dropping. And it's sad to say that this game here pretty much trumps all of the games from Gamescom. It does. Gamescom had, it was very underwhelming. And I'm going to segue into that, I guess. I want to segue into that. Talk about some fucking Gamescom. Because everybody, thought that, we were going to get this, we were going to get that, and we didn't really. We got a lot of DLC news. We got a lot of, oldies, being revamped and things of that nature. And, we got a lot of indie games, if you will, and just other trailers of games that we've already knew about that already been announced, and just a lot of regurgitated shit, basically. And a lot of people are kind of upset with that. And, I look at that as a gift and a fucking curse, because we are in an age now where everything is now. We have to have it now. And we're spoiled. I mean, let's keep it real with each other, man. We are. If we sat back and thought about it, a lot of us would agree. We get everything in the palm of our hand now. Every second of every fucking day. You just pick up that phone. Boom, the news is there. I mean, even when I heard the news of Chadwick Boseman, okay, first thing I did when I heard it, and I heard it on the fucking radio. I was out driving, doing something, picking up something, and I heard it on the radio. I called my girl. Did you fucking hear what happened to Chadwick Boseman? Yes, I already heard. What? She already fucking knew, okay? I say that to say we have everything right in front of us. So if you're interested in something and you truly want to know about it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to know about it. You're going to get that information. I think the reason why my podcast is, pretty successful, I have a lot of new listeners every month. It seems like I gain, and not just me, but a lot of other people, is not because, we give you news first. I mean, a lot of this news that I'm talking about, guys, has already been out there. It's shit that I, got or whatever. But I think it's just because people want to hear, reactions and discussions about said subjects. I think that's just what it is. You know what I mean? They want to find out if, hey, I wonder what this guy's going to say about this. I wonder if we're going to have the same opinion on that, and so on and so forth. But we just live in an age now where everything is handed to us. And, Gamescom, they had some gems. They had a few things in there that I personally enjoyed and look forward to playing, but none of the heavy hitters, none of the stuff that, came from the E3 of old, back when those big major events happened, and that's because, coronavirus changed a lot of that. And just the media in general changed a lot of this. So it's a slippery slope, when you talk about getting our gaming information and stuff like that. We want a big hit, it seems like, all the time. And when we get news on a game that we are excited about, 9 times out of 10, the game is nowhere close to being released. So it's almost like, well, damn, if we didn't hear anything about it, would you rather hear about it right before it came out? That way oh, we haven't heard anything in 2 years on this franchise. And then we hear about it, and then they backdoor it with telling us it's coming out next month or some shit like that. Yeah, that would blow our fucking minds. Instead, we get it as soon as it comes, into development. I mean, as soon as they sign the papers and say, okay, let's get started Monday, guys, then we get the fucking information and we're like, yo, we know this is going to get made, but we won't be able to play it for 3 years. So we're hype. We get high off of the news, and then it fizzles out, and then we're looking for that next high because that game doesn't come out for years to come. So we're just waiting. We forget all about it until it gets close again, or until we get an update and more information, maybe a new trailer on the game and the progress and all of that. And that's just how we live now, for the most part. So you can look at it both ways. You know what I'm saying? So, and then sometimes, look, some of these companies, I believe could give us more, could show us more, but for whatever reason, maybe they're holding it in their back pocket for another event. Who fucking knows? Because we're headed in the direction now where, everybody's doing their own thing separately. Like, they're hosting their own, trailers, and they're just dropping shit, out of nowhere. That's what companies are doing now. And it pays for a lot of people. And I think that's the direction we're heading in the future. No more are the E3s of the world going to be, things we look forward to as the end all be all of video game news. It's just not going to be that simple. I think everybody's kind of, forking out and doing their own fucking thing. And I think it's cool like that too, because if you have a developer or a company that you really, gravitate to and you really love, you're going to, you follow them on Twitter and Instagram maybe, or anything that they do, and you'll for sure get notified if you hear something from them. And that's just what it is now. That's just everybody's kind of, we're in a world now where everybody can be their own thing, their own entity. You can carve out your own piece of the pie, so to speak, if you want to. I mean, I set out to do that and link up with people like you guys who are listening to me, who have all these things in common, who love video games, who have an affinity for anime and nerd culture and things of that nature. So I wanted to do this podcast because I wanted to connect with people like you guys out here listening to me now. And I could have a long, relatable conversation about these things and not have people look at me like I'm purple when I'm talking about, one of my favorite Capcom fighting games from, early 2000s or something like that. You know what I mean? Or one of my favorite anime when I'm talking about Kimetsu no Yaiba and they look at me like, what the fuck did you just say? So, I do it for that reason. That's the main reason why I do this, and I follow other people who are in that same lane. Because like I said, I love hearing things about those subjects. I like talking about them. I like being involved in those circles. And that's just a world I prefer to live in, So I decided, why not create my own little piece of heaven and, start a podcast and go further than that, and start doing other things, venturing outside of that. So that's another reason I actually got an iPad. That was one of the main reasons that kind of made me segue into that. And I'll get into that at the end of the show and let you guys know what that means and why I'm bringing it up now, because it kind of makes sense. It'll kind of, you guys will understand once I, talk about it a little bit later. But anyway, back to this Gamescom shit. Yeah, man, this Gamescom shit, I'm going to go down the list. There's some things that I saw. There's some things that I really, really liked. And I'm going to, talk about them a little bit. And hopefully you guys, if you saw Gamescom, there's some things that you did see. I mean, because they showed a shit ton of games. Okay, I didn't even get to cover everything. There's some things that I saw that I actually forgot. And, there's a lot of shit. Now, I'll end up going back this next week upcoming, and I'll go through Gamescom again. And I'll see what I missed, because I know there's a couple games that I wanted to talk about, but I couldn't remember, couldn't find them, didn't have the time to go back and find them and do my research and stuff like that. So I'll go back and I'll pick up those scragglers, next week and talk about those. But I did have, a handful of games that I did like, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And hopefully you guys saw something at Gamescom that you liked, because with all the games that they did show, there had to be at least one or two games that you guys want to see or want to, play. I know there's one game on this list that I think a lot of people will want to fucking play. Okay. And I'm going to get to that. first, I'm going to talk about the first one on the list. And this is in no particular order, guys. This is just the games that I saw and I just wrote them down. Now, every game on this list, don't get it twisted, I did not necessarily like. I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. And yeah, one of them for sure is on this list that I just want to talk about. And yeah, we'll get to that. But the first game that I have and I want to talk about is a game called Hypercharge. Now, this game supposedly has already been out. I think it's been out for, I want to say, Nintendo Switch already. I'm going to look into that. But I saw it. They showed it at Gamescom. I think the reason why they did that is because it's coming to multi-platforms now. But you basically play a toy who's come to life, and it is a first-person shooter. And it looks pretty fucking good, man. It looks really fun. The stages look fun. I think there's 8 or 9 different maps, if you will, to play on and fight on. I mean, you're a character who jumps out, an action figure who jumps out this package. The customization looks awesome as well. And when it comes to customization in first person games, guys, it's kind of like it doesn't make sense to me. And it doesn't make sense to me in a sense because why would you give so much customization to a character who you're never gonna see? 90% of the time you're not gonna be looking at them. You're gonna be looking at hands and guns. And that's it. I never understood that. Now, third person, yes, all the way. You know, I wish, more games, when they did those type of games, they gave you the option for first person or third person. But hey, that's another story. Anyway, what I did see of this game looked pretty awesome, man. It looked very fun to play, and I'm interested. I really am, and I'm not normally interested in a lot of first person shooters, online shooters at that, and that's what this is. And it looks pretty good. And it's, like I said again, it's called Hypercharge Unboxed, and then it has 90s on it. So I guess you play a 90s toy. The customization is really, really, really fun looking. So I don't know, give it a whirl. There is a demo on Steam right now. So yeah, Steam has some things, man. Steam kind of makes me, man, do I want to fuck with Steam? You know what I mean? I don't know. I kind of want to just fuck with it there's some games on there that aren't intensively heavy that I would just play. And I'll get to some of those as well later on at the end of the show. But yeah, man, I mean, there's always something on Steam. So I don't know. We don't get everything on our consoles. We don't get everything. And then I have a couple friends who actually fuck with Steam too. They have their computer and they don't have a huge beefy computer or anything like that. Please don't get it twisted. And the computer's not even made to really play games on it. It's just, there are a lot of games on Steam that any average laptop could handle easily. You put your controller in there, boom, you're ready to play. And these are the games that I'm talking about. Now, this game in particular, I don't necessarily think this is one of them. Could be, don't necessarily know, but like technology is crazy now. It's getting so to, you can play all kinds of shit. I mean, I was looking up games on the iPad when I first got it and blew my mind on what was on there. Okay, I'm going to talk about one that I actually bought for like $2.99, and I can't believe it was there, and found out some other things about the iPad that I didn't know about because I didn't have one and I wasn't checking for it. And I'm going to get into all of that, guys, trust me. But anyway, the next game I want to talk about is one that I am fucking hyped about, man. I really am hyped about it. And this one is Little Nightmares 2. If you guys have not seen this trailer, please check this motherfucker out. Okay. I think there's like a 15-minute trailer on there. There's another small trailer, but you need to see this. They did an excellent job with this game, and I want to play it. This is something that me and my son, what? Oh, this is right up his alley. This is right up his alley. He is a little nightmare loving machine. This kid loves scary movies. I mean, we've seen a number of Freddy's. We've seen a number of different Friday the 13th. We've seen some Chucky's. We've seen like Isabel's and all this. We've seen these movies. Okay. He's 7 years old. Okay. He wants to see these movies. He begs to see these movies. Okay. He lays up eating popcorn with a smile on his face. Some kids are just like that. And, that's his thing, man. Okay. I don't let him watch I don't know it in a kid's eyes, in a sense. A lot of that shit is cartoony, zany, if you will. especially the older, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street movies and Friday the 13th movies. They're cheesy now. If you look at them now, a lot of them are like that. And I remember, you know, being his age, watching those summer in my grandmother's basement, you know, with my cousins, you know, just watching them together, eating snacks and junk food. And those were great times. So it is what it is. But this game here, man, I think he's going to love it, and I'm going to love it. But yes, you guys definitely need to check this game out. If you haven't heard of that franchise, Little Nightmares, it's pretty dope. The first one, this one is leaps and bounds, if you ask me, above the first game. Okay, definitely check this one out. This one caught my attention. I put a star by it because it's that good to me. So give that one a gander and tell me how you feel. All right, the next one on my list is one that, you know, I laughed at it when I saw it, and I just wanted to talk about it for a little bit. And this game is Star Wars Sims. Okay, the game comes out September, I want to say September 8th. Okay, I guess it's an add-on or whatever to the Sims game, the current Sims game. And you know, this is not the only franchise that's doing this. I want to say Fortnite is doing some shit like this. They're doing something with the X-Men, I think. And I guess it appeals to some people, those casual gamers that just, you know, and that's what they do it for. Because there are people that are going to buy it, and they're just trying to get money. That's basically what they're trying to do, get money, and that's fine. If people buy it, hey, I guess you can't be wrong for it. But for people like me who, I don't even know how I can even say it, but it's a joke to me. It really is. When they take these franchises and they put it on another franchise and try to make money off of it, it just feels weird. Okay, like an old man who sits at a park a little bit too long, and you start to get uncomfortable. When you find out he has no kids there and he's just there eating a fucking apple, and then when he finishes the apple, he fucking begins to drink something from a cup, and it just begins to become uncomfortable. And you start to wonder, why is this old man still here? Okay, that's how I feel about this shit. Okay, when I see this, when I see these things, I think I know what they're trying to do, but I thought I'd just mention that. It made me laugh. It made me laugh a little bit. So I threw up a little bit too, just a little bit, maybe a half a teaspoon in my mouth when I saw that. But hey, you know, if you like it, I fucking love it. Okay, I like Star Wars like the next nerd. I really, really do. But you know, really, Sims? Okay, all right, I get out of there. Moving on. Let's talk about Dragon Age 4. Let's talk about Dragon Age 4. And there's a trailer out. We didn't see a lot. A lot of us knew the game was in development. I saw something on this, you know, some weeks back, and I talked a little bit about it. But I'm here to tell you, man, I am hyped. I am hyped. I know it's not coming out anytime soon. I know it's next gen, all of that, but I am hyped. They killed it with the last one, and I know they're going to kill it with this one. I just know it. Cannot wait to see what this is going to be, what they're going to do with this game. The graphics, the story, the world, everything about it. And it looks like the people who are involved in making it are having a great time as well. And that's always a good sign. The passion, you can see it. All of those things are great signs for what is to come. And I, for one, cannot wait to dive into this shit. Okay? I really do. And that's all I have to say about it. And that's pretty much all they showed us. I just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention in case you missed it. Because like I said, Gamescom had a lot of fucking boo-boo. And sometimes you had to kind of swim through it and find those little diamonds in the rough. And in my opinion, this is one of those, even though it's coming out no time soon. So just be looking out for that. Keep your eyes peeled for Dragon Age 4. Another game on the list is a free to play game, and a game who has made strides upon strides every fucking update, guys. One that I always say I need to go back and play it, need to go back and download it. But, you know, for whatever reason, it doesn't happen. One day I just want to kick myself in the shin and say, man, get this shit done. Go ahead and download this shit. And I'm talking about Warframe. Warframe. I remember playing Warframe years ago, and it was awesome then. And they came so far from the last time I played it. It's a completely different fucking game, and that was the last fucking update. The last time I played it, which was probably damn near a year ago. Okay? And now they're adding another expansion, and I don't know, man. I mean, this is when a game developer who puts out a game free to play, this is when it's done right. This is how it should be done. Okay? My thing with those type of games is the balance as far as the play to win / grinding. You know, those things are taken into account. Some games are unapologetically sloppy and they don't give a fuck. They put it in your face. Okay? Play this to this level, and then there's the wall. If you want to get past this level, you're going to have to pay some money. It's a pay to win type of thing. Some other games have it to where, okay, that instead of that pay to win, it's grind to win if you don't want to spend money. Now, yeah, sure, you can play. You're going to play until your fingers fall off just to get enough to get what you need to get to that next place. But hey, if you love the game and you love the grind, then there's really no problem. But if you're somebody who loves the game, but you know, the grinding isn't, you necessarily don't want to do that all the time, then you spend a little money here, a little money there, and boom. Okay. You know, there's a balance to be made here. There's a balance, you know, the way these games are made, in my opinion. And, you know, I think Warframe has been one of those companies who has mastered that and had gotten that shit right. And I really, really appreciate what these guys have done and where they continue to go with this franchise. So, you know, if you're not familiar with Warframe, you definitely should check it out. You owe it to yourself. There's a lot of dope YouTubers out here who cover the game still to this day, doing their thing, who, you know, blew up their fucking channels on this game. Warframe is the shit, and I will eventually get back to it. I mean, look, I had plenty of time with friends playing this at one time, you know, trying to get everybody else back together again, the old gang, the old clique, if you will, to try to play this is definitely going to be, it would definitely be a task. Okay. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with this, especially people who play video games, who play a lot of multiplayer stuff or has played a lot of multiplayer games, and you meet a lot of your friends through these games. And there's games where you all find out, hey, we all have this game, let's get together, and it's da-da-da. It's beautiful when you can get everybody together and everybody's playing the same thing. I remember so many times when I played certain games and we got people together. I remember Dragon Ball. We did that, you know, with, there's a lot of different games we did it. I did it and got together with other friends with, and it was that camaraderie, and it was just a great thing. Division was another game, you know, both of them, 1 and 2. You just have some great times, and getting your old clique back together, lining everything up correctly, you know, because everybody has their own lives and things happen in their lives. I mean, I have friends that I met, and before, you know, he wasn't married, and now he's married, and now he just had a son, and you know, you throw that wrench into the game. So it's like, you hear, you know, another one of my friends, man, who was from New York, and he had a kid now. So it's like, you know, we're playing with him online in certain games, then you hear that controller drop, and you hear that pause come, that silence spike up, and you figure out, oh, okay, he muted the fucking, he muted his mic, and he went to go to tend to his daughter. Okay, stuff like that. People's lives change, and sometimes, you know, they're not able to link back up like we used to, or you have to find the right time for it and everything. So I understand all of that. But Warframe definitely brings back those memories because we had some great times, and those are why I play multiplayer games. You know, those are the reasons why I do. I don't play them often, but when I do, it's because, you know, my other friends have it, and you know, sometimes they'll tell me, hey man, get the game, or you know, you need to pick this up, man, so we can do multiplayer and da-da-da. So, you know, we'll support each other in that sense, you know, because we're gamers, baby. Come on, you know how it goes. You know how it goes. Anyway, let's move on to the next game, guys. And that game is, man, it's called, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Naseer, Naser, Son of Man. Okay, this looks like, it's not a AAA game per se. It doesn't look AAA. It looks like, you know, AA. Whatever, but it's a side scroller action based game, and the premise of it is really fucking dope though. He's a gun-toting, Mario-looking motherfucker. Okay, and he's just basically trying to get revenge on all these robots who basically turned his life upside down, killed everybody he cared about. And you play this guy. The game looks awesome, man. It really does. I don't know when it's coming out, but the shit looks dope. It was one of the last trailers I looked at before I jumped on this microphone. Like I said, I was literally combing through shit, trying to find some of these other games, and I had my eye on looking for other ones, and I ended up stumbling upon other ones. So there's probably still some gems out there that I have not came across yet, because I think Gamescom, if you played it in its entirety, it's like 8-9 hours long. So, you know, going through all of them, I didn't sit there for the whole time and watch that shit. There's no way I could have done that, especially with the boo-boo that was inserted in most of the show. Like I said, a lot of it was boo-boo. A lot of it you had to kind of put on those gloves and get in there and put that, you know, that face mask on and get down in there and find those diamonds. But, you know, I try to let everybody else work itself out, IGN and companies like that. And then, you know, I clean up the plate and then go from there. Anyway, that game looked awesome. You guys should definitely check it out. Once again, the game is called Naser, Naser, Son of Man. Check that fucking trailer out. Tell me how you feel. All right. Next game I want to discuss is a game called Skull. This is the last game on my list, and it's a retro looking game. It's a side scroller beat 'em up / RPG type of experience. And the game is spelled SKUL, and it's called Skull the Hero Slayer. I really, really enjoyed this game. It gave me, it reminded me a little bit of Dead Cells in a lot of different senses, but it's its own thing though. Don't get it twisted. It is definitely its own thing. It's not a clone of any kind. I'm not trying to say that. It just looks awesome. The premise of the game, the graphics, you know, I'm a sucker for those retro 16-bit, 32-bit type of graphics. I love them. I love those games. And this is just another one that I would really, really want to play, you know, and this one's coming out for Steam. This is Steam only right now. Now, will this game, or could this game come out for, you know, the consoles later? Probably. It probably will. But, you know, the exclusivity shit is real out here for a lot of these games in these digital streets. And that's probably what's happening with this game. And who knows, it may never come out for consoles. There's some games on Steam that never come out for consoles, or it takes years for that to happen. So, you know, it is what it is. I'm going to take it for what it is. And it's games like this that make me want to explore Steam a little bit, and for these type of games, because this game seems like it's not going to be graphically intense on your computer or your laptop. So you can definitely play this and with no hiccups, and you're good. And that's what I mean by that. These are the games that I want to fucking play. Okay. So yeah, look out for Skull, SKUL, the Hero Slayer. All right, guys, moving on down the line. Let's talk a little bit about some Netflix. All right. We got some Netflix news out here in these video game streets. And I say video game streets because Netflix is trying to leverage a lot of these video game entities. Okay. They've done it with Castlevania. All right. And now they want to do it to Resident Evil. Okay. Now I'm a little worried about this one. Okay. It's bittersweet for me because I'm a little bit worried. I love the Resident Evil series, the franchise. And you know, this game, not the game, why did I say game? This show is going to cover the story of Wesker. Okay, it takes place, you know, years down the road, and it follows Wesker's two daughters, teenage daughters, and they somehow end up uncovering his past, their father's past. And then you have some sort of, I guess, time skip, and you're now looking into a post-apocalyptic environment, universe, world, whatever you want to call it. And there's a lot of other shit going on. It doesn't make sense to me, and that's where it kind of lost me. But this is what the basis of the show is going to be about. Not really sold personally on that story. I know Wesker is a character that a lot of people fuck with, but his daughters, teenage daughters, the future. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. I just hope that whoever's in charge of writing this is going to do this shit justice, because sometimes, guys, sometimes some things are better left alone. Okay, some things should just stay where they're at. And the problem we have is, a lot of the time people see dollar signs and they see certain franchises and they think whatever they write or wherever they shit out is going to be gold, and they end up being wrong more times than right. And that is the feeling that I'm getting with this. But I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, because Netflix does have a history with hitting the mark. So I'm trying to, let it happen like this. And sometimes they miss too. Okay, let's please not get it twisted. Okay, Death Note. But hey, that's here nor there. We're going to take it for what it's worth. And I'm going to try to stay positive with this news, and we will see what happens. Because Castlevania, was a dope show. It's a dope series or whatever. The last season wasn't necessarily my favorite out of the seasons, but they still did their thing. So we shall see, man. More Castlevania talk at the end of the show, by the way. Okay. Anyway, let's get off of that and let's move on to something else. And that something else is 343. If you don't know what that is or who that is the company who is responsible for the Halo franchise. Okay. Now, the news I want to talk about, guys, is surrounding this game. And last week I talked a little bit about what happened or what was happening with this game, as far as, them postponing it, moving it back to 2021, talking about even pushing the game back further to 2022 even. And I'm talking about the Xbox One version of that. And apparently they have basically took that off the table, and they have put out some sort of comment saying that no, they are not getting rid of the Xbox One version of this game. They are still making it, so everybody rest assured. So a lot of people listening to this who are worried about that, especially if you had the Game Pass and all that, and you wanted to play it in one shape, form, or fashion, you can rest now, and you can get your hands on that. Now, when it comes out, that's still a mystery. We know 2021 for right now, but like I said, guys, anything is bound to happen in the foreseeable future with these games, especially when you're talking about what's going on with them in their studio. But that's not it. That's not all the news. Okay. The cherry on top of this news is the fact that they have hired Joseph Staten. Now, if you guys don't know who Joseph Staten is, he is the guy responsible for the first few Halos, Halo 1, 2, and 3, if I'm not mistaken. And he's being brought in to help with Halo Infinite. Now, the question I have is, okay, he's being brought in, but how much time do these guys have to salvage, the wreckage within the studio to get everything back to working status, I guess? Because, for all we know, man, and with the news that's been coming out, I mean, it looks like the studio's in disarray right now. Okay, there's a lot of shit going on probably behind closed doors, and they're scrambling. And that's the only reason why they brought this guy back. They had to pay this motherfucker, I'm sure. Okay. I'm quite sure they had to break his ass off to come back and put his name on the line, because this guy is like an advocate for this series, man. I mean, he was writing books and shit too in the Halo universe. So this guy is one of the, very, very well respected guys out here in these digital streets when we're talking about Halo. And they brought this guy in. So I'm anxious to see what he's able to do here. What is he going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to, does he have a special Band-Aid that can soak up more blood than, one of those super towels that you can get at Walmart? I don't know. Okay. But I do know he's there now. And I do know they brought him for a reason. They're trying to get this shit done. So I will definitely keep you guys on the ball, and as more news comes to the light on this subject. Okay, now got that out the way. Let's talk about some Nintendo. Yes, I said it. Nintendo. If you guys haven't heard, man, there's been rumors. There's been rumors for the last probably 6 months easily about another fucking system. Okay, another console, handheld, as you probably would. It'd probably be a handheld. Okay, that's the rumors are right now. It's going to be a handheld system, and it's going to be slated for sometime in 2021. Now, the crazy thing about this is the specs that they are talking about with this device is going to be equivalent to a PS4. Okay, so that kind of piqued my interest. Now, there were questions about, hey, is this going to be 4K, yada yada yada. No, it's not going to be 4K. I think it's going to be 1080. Okay, there's still a lot of question marks out here, but right now, this is the talk in the streets. This is what's going on behind closed doors, these whispers in the night where people do strange things to each other, where the butter is on the table and it's very, very lukewarm. These are the things that are happening, okay, out here in these video game streets. And I am likely to believe this. I really am likely to believe this. The Nintendo Switch is doing excellent, and that's not going anywhere. They're still fucking with Nintendo Switch. Please don't get it twisted. It is, I mean, you can't even get a Nintendo Switch right now. Try trying to go out and find a Nintendo Switch. And I didn't know this until I heard a couple YouTubers talk about it. And then I asked my girl, she had a friend that was trying, and she was saying that they can't find them because, you know, it's getting close to the holiday season now. You know, it's September approaching. People are starting to get that itch, and people are already picking this shit up. And these scalpers and all this other shit going on. Look here, look out. I've seen Nintendo Switches for $400. I went to, what did I go? Movie Trading Company. Okay. They're selling these motherfuckers for $400, $399. So you guys better slow your roll. Anyway, yeah, that's what's happening right now. Just be on the lookout and don't be surprised. Don't be surprised with the new Switch news, okay? And Nintendo, they're going to sell. All right, let's keep it real with each other. That shit is going to sell like hotcakes. I don't give a fuck if Nintendo puts out some deodorant. If they put out a Nintendo deodorant, motherfuckers will be lined up outside the store just to get some fucking Nintendo deodorant, okay? That's just Nintendo. That's just what it is. And I understand. I love Nintendo too. I grew up on Nintendo. Nintendo was the first system I ever got, okay? So I understand. I really do. So look, we'll see where the ball drops. Just keep your eyes peeled, okay, and your ears to the streets, because this is real. I think this is real. Just want to lay that on the table and put it in you guys' head so you can say, oh no, fuck that. So I can say, hey, remember when I told you guys that this was going to happen? Boom, in your face, okay? All right, guys. Winding down to the end of the motherfucking show, and I'm going to leave you with this. I just recently got an iPad, and you know what? I don't know what it is about these Apple products, man, but these motherfuckers know what they are doing, with the exception of the iPhone, okay? I love my Android phone, and I will never switch. I will never switch to iPhone, okay? iPhone is just a little too simple for me, all right? You can do a lot with Android, and I love my Android phone, but when we're talking about the MacBook, we're talking about the iPad, boy, do we have a fucking hit. All right. Yeah, I really love my MacBook Pro. All right. I'm recording on that right now as we speak. And I was a longtime PC guy. I did my podcast for years on the fucking PC and did a lot of other things on my PC. I made my music on my PC, which I still do. But I got this iPad, guys, and the reason why I got this iPad is because, you know, I'm a creative person. For those who don't know, for those of you who are new to the show, don't know my history or, you know, my hobbies and things of that nature, man, I love music. I love creating music, making beats, writing, you know, scores and things of that nature. If you go to my YouTube channel, a lot of that background music and stuff like that are just, they're custom tracks, music that I just made and I just had sitting on my hard drive that I never did anything with. I've actually put out an EP called The Midnight Road Trip, which was based off of synth pop or synth wave music. I was inspired by that because of a fucking DLC video game from Far Cry 3, Far Cry Blood Dragon, which is one of my favorite Far Cry games. The soundtrack is crazy. It's 80s synth bass type of, you know, type of soundtrack. And yeah, I decided to make music like this. I had never made any beats that were in that genre, and I love that genre of music so much. I decided to try it, and I did. So I say that to say that I like to create shit, not just music, but I love art as well. So I love drawing. I used to draw way, way, way more than now. I barely draw now, guys. I mean, maybe once a year or some shit like that. But I've always wanted to do digital art. I've always wanted to get into digital art. And one of my favorite artists that I fuck with and follow, is this guy named 1000. And he's an excellent artist, man. He's his own style, and he's just dope. But anyway, I was watching him work one day, just a random ass day, and he had an iPad, and iPad Pro, I think, to be specific, and he had a program called Procreate. And I kept hearing about Procreate, this program. Everybody's singing its praises. It's a very cheap program, but it's a highly professional program that everybody fucks with. I think it's $10. And people love it, man. And so I was just watching people work on it, watching him work on it. And, I said, man, I have a lot of old pictures a lot of old drawings and stuff that I did. And I was going through my old drawings and stuff from way back, man. I mean, like 2002 and shit like that. And I was like, yo, let me, I would love to, do this. And part of my hobby anyway is designing, t-shirts and logos and things of that nature, and custom things, or semi-custom things. So I was like, it'd be cool to just make some completely 110% original work. You know what I mean? Character wise, all of these things. I have all these anime characters in my head, like who I would love to draw. You know what I mean? And I'm not bad at drawing. If you go to my Instagram, you could probably find a few pictures there if you dig deep enough in those pictures. I am a huge Toriyama fan as far as his art style. I love Toriyama. Toriyama is the reason I started drawing anime characters. That I just love his art style. So, I have a couple pictures there. I think I have a Frieza that I did in pencil and marker, and then black and white. And I think I have I want to say a Majin Buu, a Evil Buu there. I have a few pictures, I think, on my Instagram, but you can check them out. And I want to know what you guys think. If you guys are listening, go to my Instagram, StudioMguyvR79, and scroll through all those fucking pics and find those pictures and tell me what you think about them. But yeah, man. So, I wanted to get back into that. I wanted to get back to my drawing because it's something that I was always good at. If you put 10 people in the room, I was that one that had, I guess talent at it, raw talent, I was just always able to just look at something and kind of draw it and make it look damn near identical. But there are exceptional artists out there too, like motherfuckers who are just extremely fucking wet, amazing or highly skilled, guys. That's what I mean when I say wet. But they're out there, and it's fun, man. And now digital art is a little different because it's a lot quicker once you learn how to draw digitally. Once you learn how to draw on that pad, it's a lot easier and quicker in a lot of senses. As far as like coloring and things of that nature. Like I said, I've been watching a lot of these artists draw and do their work, and their favorite things to do, man, start to color and set the palettes up and do this and do that, and it's excellent. It's dope. So I want to flirt with that. I want to get back into that, and I want to maybe turn it into something, from a hobby to maybe who knows, just put my art out there. If you love it, and if you're decent at it, I encourage anybody listening, no matter what it is, go ahead and do it. We live in an age now where you can do these things and you can put it out there and people will gravitate to you. You can get a slice of that pie, so to speak, if you will, whatever you're out there searching for. When I did this podcast, guys, I just did it for the love. I did it for the passion of the things that I like to do. And I just put it out there. I just decided. I decided to put it out there. I did not, for the life of me, think it was going to do anything. I swear to God, I did not expect it to do what it's been doing. I didn't. I have never promoted it. I just did it and put it out there, guys. And somehow you guys stumbled upon this, maybe through word of mouth, maybe through just accident. Who fucking knows? But the most important thing is you guys found me. And I'm so fucking happy that you did. I can even argue and say I found you guys. We found each other. I look at it like that, because anybody willing to sit down or drive or lay in the bed or do whatever they do and listen to another person talk about, these things, that's a special thing, man. You know what I mean? For both ends. That's a special thing. That I consider you guys special, because you listen to me talk about these things that you're interested in, and we're all interested in. We have a common love for, and you guys could look at it the same way. Like, hey, I feel like you guys may feel like I'm special because you just feel like you found me and you like to hear me talk about all this other shit as well. So I say that to say it's beautiful and it's great to be a creative individual, and if you guys feel the same way, I encourage you. I really encourage you guys to get out there and do it. Same thing with the podcast, guys. If you are passionate about these things and you ever thought about doing it, do some research. Take a pen and a pad. Write down the things you love and the things you like to do. And I guarantee you, man, there's ways to get into those things. And now in today's age where we live, there's ways to even eventually, maybe one day, turning it into a profession. That's my whole goal now. My goal at first was just to do this podcast and put it out and talk about the things that I love to talk about. And to me, it's therapeutic to do that. It's how I, vent, and it's how I kind of breathe, so to speak. So I would do it no matter what happens. I do it for free. I'm doing it for free now, technically. But now that I'm seeing what it's turning into, and the more people that are starting to download and stream me and interact with me and all that, I see it starting really to pick up its pace, and it's growing. Now it's not so outlandish for me to think that, you know what, maybe I could turn this into something more. You know what I'm saying? So, I figured 10 years from now, and that's us being very generous, but I'm giving myself 10 years to do this, and not just this. The podcast is one thing, but the gaming channel, the YouTube channel, which you guys should definitely follow me and subscribe to StudioMguyvR TV, and also now my art, because it all starts with a thought. It all starts with just a blinker of an emotion in your mind. Same thing with this podcast, man. I was kicking it around in my head, and I talked to a couple friends about it, and then next thing you know, I said, fuck it, I'm going to do it. So just do it. So now I'm saying the same thing with this art of mine, and I'm going to just do it. I'm going to start doing art again and see what happens, see where it takes me, and put it out there in the world. Share it with the world. Give it, to people. I think that's what it's for, not just to hold to yourself. You know what I mean? Just like this podcast, I don't want to just talk about this to myself. I want to reach out to other people, to you guys who love some of the same things I love, man. I'm passionate about this shit. I could talk about video games and anime for fucking ever. Okay? And I want to talk about it with you. So that's my point. That's what I'm trying to, I guess, get at. And I'll end the podcast on that note. If you do want to get out and in touch with me, it's easy to do. I've already mentioned a couple of platforms you guys can reach me at. I'll do it one more time for you. That is, I'll give you my Instagram first, StudioMaguyver79. You can also holler at me on Twitter at StudioMaguyver. I even have a Facebook page. That's StudioMguyvR as well. And the YouTube channel, StudioMguyvR TV. Okay? Look that up. Subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And last but not least, if you guys want to support the show, if you want to show some love, you can definitely hit me on the Cash App. That's StudioMguyvR. Okay? If you want to give something, if you're in the giving mood, so to speak. You can also hit me on PayPal, which is paypal.me/StudioMaguyver, if you're feeling like giving something for the show. If I get enough donations, or if I get enough support, I will convert over to 2 podcasts a week. Okay? And that's saying something, because, 1 a week is enough. And it's a lot of work in itself, but I wouldn't mind doing that for you guys. That's the goal in the end. That's part of my 10-year plan to basically, I can do like maybe 2-3 podcasts a week. And then I have the YouTube thing going. And then also I have the art thing going as well. So yeah, man, a lot of plans. And like I said, that's the most important thing. Have a plan, have a goal, Set it, write it down however you need to have it in front of you, and just go with it. Don't rush it. As long as you're taking those steps in that direction, it's cool. And I always encourage everybody listening to do what you love. Okay? I don't care what it is. Do what you love, because the older you get in life, you start to realize that it's not about necessarily about the money. It's not. Okay, it's about the quality of life. It's about what makes you tick. It's about what makes you happy on a day-to-day. I'd rather be happy every fucking day than to be fucking rich every day. And that's just a fucking opinion. And a lot of people don't realize that because they haven't gotten old enough yet, or they're just not there. But you start to realize that, and you start to see those things. They become very, very apparent to you. So I'm doing all of these things because I love them, and it fills my life with love. It fills my day-to-day activities with love. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at on that, and I'll leave you guys with that. I love each and every one of you guys. I want to thank everybody who's been down from day one. You know who you are. You know I love you very much, and I'm so grateful to have you as listeners. And for the newcomers who are just joining me, I hope to see you again. We do this every Monday, baby. Every fucking Monday. And I hope you become a new member of the family. I'm going to get out of here now. This is Studio MacGyver. You have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.